morning, everybody. This is Ms Genny from Sampson County 4-H. Today we are going to work on fluid art, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. And we actually are going to have somebody here with us that's going to also be trying this out, and hopefully I can explain it to you pretty good. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to go over our supplies. We need our canvas. This is an 8x10 canvas that I have. We are going to need Floetrol. This is going to be one of our most important parts. You can pick this up at Lowe's. It's about $8. You're going to need acrylic paints. These are at Walmart, about 50 cents, and you just want to pick out the colors that you really like the most. You also are going to need, I'm using wax paper. This is just something we put on the surface to protect the area that we're going to be painting. We also have stands. These are a little bit more formal. These are stands that we put our canvas on. They'll sit, let's get this right, like that, and the canvas will sit just like that on top of there. And you don't have to have these. I use yogurt cups, or just, you can use small Dixie cups. Those work as well. So let's get started here real quick. First thing we're gonna do is, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. We're also gonna need cups and gloves. So the first thing we're gonna do is, okay guys, so we're back. What we've done is I have Miss Tiffany here. She's gonna be doing what we call a dirty pour, and that's where you mix multiple colors in one cup, and then you actually would flip the canvas over top of the cup, and when you pull the cup up, it'll disperse the paint onto the canvas, and it makes a really cool design. But what we've done here, we've already set up, we've got our wax paper on our surface, we've set up our canvas on our small stands, and Miss Tiffany is going to do a paint mix for the fluid art, and this is 1 part paint to 2 parts of Floetrol. So she's going to go ahead and pour in 1 tablespoon of color into her cup. Yep, into that cup. Perfect. And because we're going to be mixing our paint together, it's okay to use the same cup multiple times as far as the same color and pouring in the Floetrol. And you can use a stick if you need to help scrape the paint out. And if you don't have a stick, you can use a butter knife. That will work. Just make sure you wash it off really good before you put it back in the drawer. You want to make sure you get all the paint and all the Floetrol off of that. And now we're going to go ahead and pour Floetrol. She's going to put 2 tablespoons of Floetrol into our cup. You guys can, I don't know if you can see that, but it's filled up pretty all the way. So Miss Tiffany's going to mix up that paint in that 1 cup with the Floetrol, and what we're going to do is, after she gets done mixing it, we're going to check the consistency, because for the fluid art to work, it needs to be not super thin. It needs to definitely be easy to flow. Did you do 2 tablespoons? We did 2 tablespoons with the cup. Okay, so we've got 2 tablespoons. Go ahead and mix it up, and let's see what we have. What we want to do is we want to check the consistency. What I was saying was that Floetrol and fluid art, you need to make sure that your paint is not too thick, because it needs to be able to move over the canvas very easily. So we might have to add, and I have a cup of water right here, and we might have to add a little tiny bit, because you don't want it to be too thin or too thick. So we're going to take a look, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but you can see how it flows. This is actually a really good consistency. It doesn't stick, it's not very thick, it's actually very thin. We're gonna see that. Okay, so this is actually very good. So we're not gonna need to add water to this one because the consistency is so good. So now we're going to start with a dirty pour, and with a dirty pour, you're gonna layer your colors in. Now we've already got here colors that have already been pre-mixed. I put them in bottles because I do this fairly regularly with my, at home as my personal thing that I like to do. So Miss Tiffany is going to go ahead and mix her colors in the order she wants, and she's gonna go up to, this cup is marked with each of the ounces, and she's gonna go up to about 4 or 5 ounces, and that'll cover an 8 by 10 canvas. So you just pick the colors that you like. And now Ms. Genny, that's me, is going to do a different type of pour. Ms. Tiffany is preparing her cup to do what's called a dirty pour. I'm going to do, mine's a little bit different. Mine's going to be like a blob of colors. And because I want to start, I'm going to start with white as the base on my canvas. So I'm just going to pour white onto my canvas. I'm sure you guys can see this. And I'm just pouring it around, and I'm going to take one of those mixing sticks, and I'm going to just make sure that this canvas is covered completely. And this, the base helps to help the colors and the paint mix flow easily. Miss Tiffany, can I borrow one of those sticks? Thank you, ma'am. So what I'm doing is I'm just covering it up, covering. Whatever. Yes, ma'am. All the colors that you would like, and you can layer them however you want. So here I'm just mixing, I'm sorry, I'm not mixing, I'm spreading out the white so that we get plenty onto the canvas. And this will help the colors move as we get ready to do the fluid art part of that. All right, let's see what we have here. Now my canvas is not completely covered, so I'm going to pour a little bit more white on the canvas, and you can just keep doing that. And it doesn't hurt to have more than you actually think you need. Because again, with the fluid art, you need to have paint on here, a lot of paint, so that it moves freely. All right. All right, Miss Tiffany, are you done?
Yeah, I'm at 5 ounces.
All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have Miss Tiffany, she's gonna take her canvas upside, she's gonna pick it up, flip it on top. Perfect. Now you're gonna take the base and you're gonna hold the cup and the canvas at the same time, flip it over, keeping everything in place. Now you're gonna, let's make sure your stands are, go ahead and put your stands, your canvas on the stand, and when you're ready, just pick the cup up. There you go. And now what's gonna happen with her colors, perfect, is because it's fluid, because we've got that right consistency, is you see how it spreads out. So you're gonna, Miss Tiffany's gonna pick up her canvas and she's just gonna start tipping it around to spread those colors out. We're gonna do our best to keep it on the wax paper. Perfect. Perfect. All right, let me get this out of the way now. While Miss Tiffany's doing that, I'm gonna do a different type of fluid art pour. This one, I don't know the technical name for it, but it's just, you mix the colors onto the canvas and they'll flow. So I'm gonna pick some blue. All right, so we got some blue, and we're gonna use some purple as well. And you can see, you can pour the paints together, it doesn't hurt it. Let's use some yellow, because I think yellow is a pretty color. It's a good, happy color. Get some there, and what other color, Miss Tiffany?
How long does it take this to dry?
Okay, so one thing about fluid art is it does take a long time to dry. It will take at least 24 hours, and you'll know that it's dry because it will not have a shine to it. I know it's hard to see here, but we have, you can see there's a shine on top of it. So what happens is when it dries, it'll be like almost dull. If you want to take your finger and very carefully pop that bubble, there you go. All right, what other color should we do? Maybe a shot of orange?
Yeah, I think orange would be pretty.
Let's do a shot of orange. All right. So there's my colors. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move these out of my way. I'm just gonna start, I'm gonna pick it up and I'm just gonna start tilting it around, and you'll see the colors start to move. And that's why we had that base coat of that white that helps the paint flow more freely. And so you guys can see it this way too. And it'll just start moving and flowing. Let's see what we get. And you can see it's starting to move together. If this is ever going to be wrong, can't really mess these up. Ooh. Unless you drop it. I like how that purple and that blue are going together.
Almost looks like a Charlotte Hornets.
All right, we're gonna do it again. We're gonna get some of these colors to really start. So this is fluid art. It's simple, it doesn't take a long time, and getting all the paints prepped and for the canvas to dry than it does to do anything else. But this is something you can do at home.
Do you use less paint when you do it that way, or the dirty pour?
Well, that is a very good question. I personally think that this way uses less paint. But the dirty pour is more fun because you can layer and do more creative layering with it and zoom in. But Miss Tiffany has what's called, they're called cells. And what you see are those small little bubbles. And those cells are actually air bubbles, and you'll see the other colors flowing up from underneath. And one way that you can get more cells on your fluid art is to include silicone into a cup, and then I take an eyedropper and I do 1 to 2 drops for each color that I want to have the cells in. And that will help bring in more cells than what you have here. We did not use silicone, but that is something that you can use. So we are completed with our fluid art, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it and had a great time, and we'll see you soon.